Don't be horrid, Henry.
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 Don't be horrid, Henry. Don't be horrid, Henry.
Don't be horrid, Henry.
Don't be horrid, Henry.
Don't be horrid, Henry.
Don't be horrid, Henry.
Don't be horrid, Henry.
Don't be horrid, Henry.
Don't be horrid, Henry.
Horrid, Henry.
This kid deserved better. Looking back, it becomes really hard to ignore the fact that Henry's parents are, at best, deeply incompetent, and at worst, emotionally neglectful. And the more episodes you rewatch, the clearer it becomes that Henry's behavior isn't random, but a response. One of the strangest things about Horrid Henry is how committed the adults are to reprimanding him before he even does anything wrong.
Morning. Don't be horrid, Henry.
"Don't be horrid, Henry" isn't advice, it's branding. That phrase is used constantly, and it matters. Telling a kid over and over that they're horrid doesn't teach them how to behave better. It teaches them who they're supposed to be. It's a negative embedded command. And if you've ever been the problem child, you know exactly how that goes. Once you're labeled, every action gets filtered through that label. What's worse is that this kind of discipline is used almost exclusively on Henry. When Henry misbehaves, the response is always the same: shouting, yelling, punishment, and isolation. He gets sent to his room. His things get taken away. End of discussion. Now sure, punishment can work short term, but when it's the only parenting tool being used, it stops correcting behavior and starts reinforcing it. Henry isn't being taught emotional regulation, accountability, or problem solving. He's being taught that adults don't want to hear him unless he's in trouble. Meanwhile, look at how the parents treat perfect Peter.
Henry!
It was Peter's fault. He sprayed me.
Don't tell lies, Henry.
It's true. I sprayed him.
Well, Henry, you should have got out of the way when Peter was watering the flowers.
Peter messes up too. He's not actually perfect. Episodes like Perfect Peter's Horrid Day and Perfect Peter's Revenge make that obvious. But when Peter misbehaves, the parents explain things calmly. They guide him. They soften their tone. Henry gets punished. Peter gets parented. And that difference matters. It explains why Peter becomes a conformist and Henry becomes a rebel. One learns that approval is attainable. The other learns that approval is pointless. This is where the show stops being funny and starts getting uncomfortable. Take Horrid Henry tricks the tooth fairy. Henry eats a ridiculous amount of sweets trying to make a tooth fall out. That's not great behavior, but it is a problem that should raise concern. Does his mother check his teeth? Ask why he's doing it? Worry about his health? Nope. She bans sweets for a month and tells him to eat apples. And ironically, that punishment leads to Henry actually losing a tooth anyway. No lesson learned, no concern addressed, just consequences stacked on consequences. Or look at Horrid Henry's new teacher, where it's revealed Henry is failing in school. This is a huge red flag. A kid struggling academically and behaviorally is usually dealing with something deeper. Do the parents talk to the school? Ask Henry what's going on. Try to understand the root of the problem. Of course not. Henry's dad just tells him to do better next term. And predictably, nothing changes, because nothing was addressed. One of the most unfair moments in the entire series happens in Horrid Henry Minds His Manners. Both Henry and Peter are invited to appear on their favorite TV shows. When it's Peter, the parents are thrilled, proud, supportive. When it's Henry, they openly hate his show and initially refuse to let him go. Henry only gets permission after he calls them out for their hypocrisy, and honestly, he's right. This pattern repeats constantly. Henry's music taste is mocked. His favorite restaurants are ignored. His interests are treated like annoyances rather than parts of who he is. The family goes where they want to go, Henry just has to deal with it, and then everyone wonders why he acts out. Henry's parents clearly disapprove of his friends, especially rude Ralph, his best friend. Henry is banned from visiting Ralph's house. Ralph's birthday gift is criticized. Henry's social circle is constantly policed. But then the parents are perfectly fine letting Henry's enemies into the house. The most extreme example is moody Margaret moves in. Margaret is Henry's sworn enemy. He openly despises her. He would, in his own words, rather marry Miss Battleaxe than marry Margaret. So what do the parents do? They invite her to live in their house for 2 weeks. They give her Henry's room. They force Henry into Peter's room. They let Margaret boss everyone around. No conflict resolution, just emotional sabotage. No parent who genuinely cares about their child would do this. And yet, the show plays it for laughs, while Henry absorbs the message that his feelings don't matter. Horrid Henry Runs Away is framed as a comedy, but it's arguably one of the darkest stories in the series. Henry plans to run away to Africa. Obviously, the plan is unrealistic, but the intent matters. I will say though, I think we all at some point packed a bag and were ready to run away when we were growing up, fully believing we were about to survive in the wild off vibes, a bag of snacks, and pure stubbornness. When the parents realize Henry is gone, they're scared. That part feels real, but once they find him, they immediately berate and punish him. No conversation, no curiosity, no attempt to understand why he wanted to leave. In the TV adaptation, Henry even tells the audience that next time, he really will run away. And it's not the only time Henry fantasizes about escaping his family. In Horrid Henry on TV, he desperately wants to appear on Kid Swap so he can get different parents. Think about that for a second. Then, to make matters worse, if Henry hoped for support from extended family, he's out of luck. His cousins hate him. His aunt gives him socks for Christmas. His great-aunt can't even be bothered to learn his gender, repeatedly calling him Henrietta. It's played as humor, but taken together, it reinforces the same message Henry gets everywhere else. You don't matter unless you behave exactly the way we want. A lot of people dismiss these takes by saying Horrid Henry is just a kid's show. But that argument doesn't really hold up. At one point in the books, Henry straight up talks about how when he's dead and gone, everyone will finally miss him and regret treating him so badly. Think about how messed up that is. No kid should ever be carrying thoughts like that. When we're kids, we take shows at face value. When we grow up, we rewatch them with context. That's how we went from seeing Squidward as a killjoy to realizing he was often the most reasonable character in SpongeBob. Or even Benson from Regular Show. Reevaluation isn't overanalysis, it's growth. If you still want to see Henry as just a bad kid who gets what he deserves, that's fine. No one's taking that away from you. But it's also fair to see him as a kid who internalized the role he was assigned. Henry isn't actually that horrid in the show. He's dramatic, impulsive, jealous, selfish, like most kids his age. The difference is that no one ever helps him regulate those traits. Book Henry is harsher, I get that. There are multiple valid interpretations. When they got the greenlit to make it a show, they decided to make Henry not actually horrid like he is in the books. Yet they kept the other characters the same, excluding Ralph. So in the show, it seems exaggerated. It makes me feel like they should have just kept him the way he was in the books then. If Henry were as extreme as his book version, the parents' behavior would go unquestioned. Because the show softened him, by making Henry less horrid, the imbalance becomes visible. No matter how bad a kid is, no one deserves neglect, humiliation, or emotional starvation. Whether the writers intended it or not, Horrid Henry accidentally became relatable to a lot of people, especially those who grew up feeling misunderstood, dismissed, or constantly too much. Some people interpret Henry as an abuse allegory. Some see trans subtext. Others just see a kid whose karma never quite matches his actions. None of these readings are wrong. Representation doesn't have to be intentional to be meaningful. But it's easy to forget Henry is just a kid shaped by an environment that never gave him a fair chance to be anything else. And honestly, that's why Horrid Henry deserves an apology.